Did you make a move? I bet you did. I bet you did. You think you're slick, think you're cool, but you're a fool. You better listen to me. Listen to me. I have a feeling you don't wanna know what she'll do to you. Oh, she's always right. You think you got away with it. You think you got away with it. You think you got away with it. You think you got away with it.
Hello, guys. Starting soon. Are you ready? Part 2. It is part 2 of the probable cause affidavit that I broke yesterday or last night. And we went over the full thing for 3.5 hours, which I also went over the maps, kind of giving you an idea of what to expect before reading the probable cause. Before I begin, if you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. That would probably be wise to ask before I start. Hey, Colorado Dog Mama. Welcome in. Chris, good to see you, love. Miss Rubug. Oh, I need to give you a wrench, but I don't know how to do it from here. I was supposed to give it to you last night. I will figure it out. I will do that. It's a little different because of my setup. But anyway, welcome in, guys. Thank you for being here. Ruby Rose, welcome back. Welcome back. Shani, good to see you. I'll be here if I don't fall asleep. I understand. You are very sick. I'm sorry to hear that. It's going around for sure. I just got over it myself. Yes, feel better. Grammy, good to see you, love. Welcome. Toe Beans, welcome back, little devil. Thank you. 1. Okay, good. All right. And all the lurkers in the back, hit a 1. Or not hit a 1, hit a like for your girl Eve. I think there was some stinkery and some poo-pooing of your girl Eve about dropping, publicly the affidavit and complaint of Sarah and Stacey last night. And that was intentional because I think that the world needs to know what they say. I think it's a good thing, the right thing to do. However, I did put that pesky little watermark just to remind yourself over there that your girl Eve got it for you. Wink, wink. You're welcome. Cheap girl, good to see you. But also credit is earned, right? Where credit is due, and that's me. and I have been looking at this case for quite a while with others, and everyone should have the right, no matter what, to review documents. Nonetheless, what we're going to do today is go over what I believe is important and what I have learned over time. I want to preference this by this is alleged. Some of the things that I can prove with a receipt does not mean that should be taken as fact. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty by a court of law. And that even means if you're charged with a crime and publicly humiliated and shamed as being guilty, does not make you so. You have to wait until that gavel goes guilty, bang, bang, go to the jail or the prison, whatever. Right? That's how we do it in the United States. Hey, Forensic Castro. Welcome in. Is it pulling up? Good. All right. So, excuse me. I am still recovering from that pesky cough. I am so sorry. I will try not to, but you know how it goes. It just happens. All right. So here we go. Back to that lovely mess of a probable cause affidavit. I have very mixed feelings about it so far. And I'm going to tell you why today. So, as I said before, we're just going to jump right into it. We're not going to grease anything up. We're just going all ham in, okay? As long as you don't cough up both wet lungs and our ears, I would not. Believe me, the mute button would happen before I got there. Jesse Martinez says, this is the worst PCA ever. Agreed. Now, if you're a fan of Clutch My Balls is what I call them, and PNW Missing Crimes Revisited, Clutch My Balls is Justin from Justin for All, aka Clutch Them Pearls. We call him a lot of names here. What is the other one? Clutch My Cash App, which is my favorite one to date. You know, I'm sure the PR reps over there, you know, the ICU mod and everyone else are chomping at the bit to just destroy what little I talked about last night. But little does he know, and little do they know, that this would be the right time to do it after watching this live, because it's about to get fun. And the reason why I say that is because you could attack me as the creator for maybe how snarky I am. Sure. Okay. You could attack me for maybe being crude sometimes. Okay. But you can't, and they haven't put out any evidence to refute what I said. And that's why I get the hate, right? The hate bombs, whatever. And I don't have a big following. Everyone, thank you for being here, by the way. And the reason why I don't think I have a huge following is because I don't prep my channel to make money for a living. Okay, like they do. Or some of them do. So that's okay. The numbers don't matter, but I do want people to please share, like, subscribe, all of the things that you normally do, and that's it. And listen with an open mind. And if you're here to lurk and then report back, that's fine too. But keep it classy in my chat. All right? Thanks. All right, here we go. We're going to jump right into it with no lube. All right, we just got to get to it. This is, again, the probable cause affidavit for Stacey Wondra, one of the 4 suspects named in November of 2022 in the first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping of Michael Vaughan, including a destruction of concealment or evidence, which is a felony. So 3 felonies, which in Idaho, 3 strikes, you get an additional time put on your books, if you will, if you are a habitual felon. So they have that third strike rule. And this definitely would be, they would be eligible every, at least Sarah and Stacey, okay? So, first degree murder. We're gonna really talk about this. Every state has a different take on murder and what is punishable. All right? And I'm going to show you that really quickly. We're just going to very quickly look at the Idaho Code. All right? So, Juanita, the detective, Juanita Keller from Fruitland PD, who wrote this probable cause affidavit over the telephone on June 12th of 2025, as far as we know, is the probable cause that was entered on the record, okay? There could be a new one. There could be not a new one sealed. I don't know. I just know that this is what was given to me. So, first degree murder, it said 14003D, which is any murder committed in the perpetration of or attempt to perpetrate aggravated battery on a child under 12. Specifically, I would say that this is kidnapping or mayhem. So that's what I'm assuming that's what she's basing on, or the prosecutor, Mike Duke of Payette County. And here we are. Now, what is punishable? Life in prison or the death sentence. We know that for a fact, okay? Idaho will shoot you in the chest. They did one execution this year, I believe, for the first time. Death by firing squad is what it's called, which was threatened many, many times on suspects and their family members if they didn't either, talk, which I don't mean like the family members are going to get the firing squad. What I mean is they were threatened by their family member who was a suspect is going to get the firing squad in Idaho. Go ahead and plea the first two talks, doesn't walk into a firing squad, basically. And that has been said many times by multiples. All right. It has been. And, yeah, very rude. So, Idaho is making the firing squad its primary method of execution following a new law signed in March of 2025, making it the only state to do so. And then it was eligible in, this change is set to take effect in July 2026. I think they did do one, though. Did I read that wrong? Anyway, just skip that for now. The law is scheduled to take effect. I think it took effect already. But it doesn't matter. It is approved. It is ready. Okay? Especially for the RSOs in the world. You gonna get it. Now, I don't disagree with that one. I do not disagree with the firing squad against anyone that harms a child. You bet. Please do. Now, the second charge is kidnapping in the second degree. And let's look and see what that statute says, because I did not go over this in my last few lives, which I should have. It's kind of obvious. Kidnapping, second degree kidnapping when not for ransom. Wait a minute. When not for ransom? Wait. What? Second degree kidnapping when not for ransom. Every other kidnapping committed shall be kidnapping in the second degree. So, I guess it isn't ransom if the probable cause stated that they were going to sell him for $10,000. So, okay, I had a moment there. So that sounds about right, depending on the probable cause, and that seems fair. But if it was for ransom, it would be a different charge. And then we have destruction or concealment of evidence, which obviously is hiding evidence to conceal your crime. Very obvious. And I think that 5 years, I think, is the max for that, and a $10,000 fine. Okay. Moving on. Checking the chat really quick before I jump in, because I gotta see a lot of chatters. And welcome in. Kaylee and Pearson, welcome. Hellcat. Let's see what's being said. I can't believe these creators. He just wants to be the first to air out any new tips on said channel. It's so sickening. Yeah, for sure. So, Miss Ruba made a great point here. Imagine accusing someone of murder by solely saying, well, Your Honor, he only said these things, but we have nothing to prove his words, aka where Michael's remains are. Right. Agreed. That is a big one. To me, a first-degree murder charge should have, pretty much like, it's obvious you did it. This is not obvious. And if you haven't watched my live on this, breaking it down or reading it out, do that after this live or whenever you can. It is the live video before this one. Okay. So I'm going to skip some of these things that are just informational, because we're going to get into, in my opinion, disputable information in this PCA. And also, we're on a time crunch today. But to get the basics out, like I always do, on July 27, 2021, neighbors reported seeing 5-year-old Michael between approximately 6:15. Wow, that's crazy. My bad. Hold on. 6:15 and 6:30 hours. Okay? 6:15 is when the neighbors saw him. Do we know what neighbors? We won't know that right now. And where? Is in the area of Michael's home and nearby residences on his house in South Arizona. Okay? Michael knocked on some of his neighbors' doors, attempting to play with neighbors or in their yards. Michael was told to return home by all of the neighbors he contacted. Would love to know how many. So the question would be, and in my mind, if there's 2 neighbors versus 16, that would be huge. I would be more agreeable to 16 neighbors saw him than 2 or 3. It has changed over time in the past. The mother and the father of Michael Vaughan would go and, do these spaces is what we call them. They would go online and, talk here and there. Mostly it was the mother. And it kind of broke down after 3 months of going through the ins and outs of that. Back and forth of, you said this and why did it change and all of these things, right? Which is where a lot of the drama came to YouTube. That I was really trying to not have it come here the way it did, but it is what it is. So that caused a lot of scrutiny, I'm sure, for the family about the timelines changing, and there were blatant lies. It wasn't. This is me not lying about it. It was blatant lies for whatever the reason is, protecting the family, whatever, or the investigation. I'm not sure. But it caused a lot more harm than it did good, in my opinion, for everybody involved. So the biggest thing, again, 6:15 to 6:30 is when neighbors are seeing him. How did he get out of his home? Don't know. How did he go undetected? We don't know. But we know that he's not on video, and you'll see that here shortly. At approximately 6:45 to 6:50, which is what Tyler has pretty much stuck by, except for he did change it to 15 minutes at one point, but this is specifically 5 minutes, 6:45 to 6:50. Tyler Vaughan has absolutely said 15 minutes before, but he was very nonchalant, like, I don't know, maybe 15, I don't know. So Tyler Vaughan noticed his 5-year-old son was missing from their home on their street of Southwest Ninth. Tyler began searching his home and property for Michael. Tyler called 911 to report his son missing at 7:21 p.m., which was outed by one of the sleuths in our group who got that call log record because it was wrong. It was stated wrong. So that would be, let's say, neighbors see him in between 6:15 to 6:30. Let's just say the latest they saw him was 6:30. 911 is called at 7:21. That leaves a 1-minute gap from when he went missing to when 911 was called. All right. So bare minimum, neighbors see him at 6:15. We don't know if Michael was seen earlier than that from this probable cause. But we know 911 was called at 7:21, and neighbors realized a search was going on roughly about 8:30, because in an article it says an hour later after he was last reported missing. But we'll just say to give some grace here, 911 was called at 7:21, so we'll just say 7:30 to 8:30 that people were starting to realize that a search was happening for Michael. Okay? It takes a little bit to get information from the family, so it's probably not 7:30. Nobody rolled up at 7:30 and saw a full-blown search, which has been said before. That didn't happen. There's just no way. However, it'll eventually get to a full-blown search, no doubt about it, within 30 minutes plus. So that's why I say 8 o'clock, 8:30 sounds more plausible to me. I wasn't there, though. Maybe a local who was there or followed the social medias can say. Okay, because there's conflicting information on social media. But again, this sentence really gets me. He knocked on some of the neighbors' doors attempting to play and was told to return home by all of the neighbors he contacted. So there could have been a few that he contacted, and none of them, or some of them were home and some of them weren't. But who he did knock on was told to return home by all of the neighbors he contacted. All right. At approximately 6:45 to 6:50, Tyler notices he's missing and searches, and then calls 911 at 7:21. Fruitland Police Department and the FBI, along with other local agencies and volunteers, searched for Michael over several weeks and now years. Through interviews, searches, and other corroborating evidence, all of Michael's family and household members have been determined not to have any knowledge of Michael's current location, nor were they involved in his disappearance. All of Michael's neighbors on Southwest 9th Street in Arizona have also been thoroughly investigated, searched, and interviewed, and have been determined by law enforcement to not have any knowledge or involvement in Michael's disappearance. I really wish you would have said there is no evidence to suggest that they are, because things can change on a dime, right? Video footage has been known to pop out of nowhere when someone says, oop, I forgot I did have this or that or this or that. And the tip comes in and boom, somebody that was cleared becomes number one prime. So wording is key to me. And they lie. Neighbors can lie. People can lie. People can misremember. Or people can really believe what they saw was what they saw. Could it have been another child? There were, no matter what you hear, there were children around Michael's age that sort of mimicked him in a way, but not entirely. But there were kids at the splash pad that would go there very routinely in the summer that looked a lot like Michael. So maybe they were visiting a friend. We don't know. Law enforcement does. We'll see how that goes when trial hits. Okay? But I will tell you that I have seen it with my own eyes. Kids that look a lot like Michael, who were at the splash pad in the summer of 2021, that I would mistaken them, no doubt about it. But it's not just me. Don't take my word for it. There is footage of Chris McDonough himself on the interview that he did in 2022 with the parents and at their home. He asked Tyler, did you were aware that there was a 5-year-old up the street that he was heading towards to play with, which was the opposite end of the street that neighbors saw him at, which was the corner of Southwest 9th and Arizona. And if you need a map, we can do that. Just really quickly. One sec. One moment. It's being silly. Open with photos. There we go. Here we go. Okay. So he was seen either at the corner of his street, right here, and he knocked on whomever's door, and they told him to come back home. I don't know who those are at the time, but there is a speculation for sure. And we'll go over that at the end. So, through interviews, searches, and other corroborating evidence, they have been cleared, or not determined, rather, to have knowledge of where he is or what happened to him. And again, Michael has never been found to this date. This is where it gets interesting. This scent tracking dog in this probable cause only starts on August 2nd and 3rd, all right, of 2021. Michael went missing on the 27th of July. That is 6 days into him being missing that a scent picks up something. Very, very interesting. He's not on camera, yet his scent is picked up. And there's only one eyewitness showing him outside of his street. One. And it's questionable to me. And we'll get to that. How did he get there? When did he get there? He would have been on camera. No doubts, no ifs, ands, or buts. There would have been a camera that would have picked him up outside of his street, outside of it, in that neighborhood across the way. No ifs, ands, or buts. And I'm going to show you that today. Okay? This is huge to me. How did they not catch him? Did the cameras not work, maybe? Did they glitch at just the right time? I don't know. But it would be very highly probable to catch him on camera somewhere. somehow, some way. If they can pick up Stacey, Sarah, and Brandon in the GMC pickup on the corner of Southwest 8th in Arizona, they sure damn well could have picked up Michael on camera, and they didn't. That's suspicious. So live sent canine teams searched the surrounding neighborhood on August 2nd through the 3rd, 2021, using a pair of Michael's shoes for his scent. Now, are you wondering, where were the other searches? Like, what happened here? Well, really quickly, the best thing to do, and I don't know why that opened in Paint, because I have not used Paint since I was probably 18. Give me a second, sorry. That was funny. Okay, I am not crime sleuthing, I know that. Then she used Paint for her. Anyway. Complete all remaining key investigative steps. Key investigative steps include, when applicable, collecting articles of the child's clothing for scent tracking purposes, reviewing and evaluating all available information and evidence collected, securing the child's last medical and dental records and collecting referenced DNA samples from family members, contacting landfill management, and requesting delay or segregation of trash collected from key investigative areas, developing and executing an investigative plan, conducting a criminal history background check on all principal suspects, witnesses, and participants in the investigation. Okay. I hope that was done. I would love to see that, because that's going to be scrutinized. And this is just step 7. All remaining key investigative steps. These are key. This is crucial. This is absolutely 100% without a doubt. You must have this done to be the most successful. Okay? I hope it was done. Right? Hellcat, right? So, I just thought you should know that that is exactly what should be the focus on when PCAs are written. Per the NCMEC training and CART team, FBI CART team training, that's what that came from. That's what that came from. Now, what about drones? What about other searches? Drone flights will continue along with the riverbank searches by boat. This was in the early stages of searching for Michael. So know that there was definitely, why the hell are we getting to Paint again? My God. But they did do drone searches. Dive team scheduled to search ponds and the slough. They were very interested in that slough for diversion, in my opinion. But what about scrutiny? I swear to God, if you open up one more time in Paint, get with the times. Okay. This is kind of piggybacking off of a child being at risk for something happening to them if they're out and about wandering around. This is part of that. And I'm just taking snippets to talk about in regards to where can we find him if there's no scent immediately, or if it's been tainted in a way, whatever the case may be. There are established patterns, or excuse me, if things are absent in a way inconsistent with the established patterns of behavior, and the deviation cannot be readily explained, meaning he's nowhere to be found, and this is really strange for law enforcement officers, FBI teams, things like that, to be like, there should be nothing or something out of nothing. Most children have an established and reasonably predictable routine. Significant unexplained deviations from that routine increase the probability that the child may be at risk. So the mother did start a new job along with the father. I think he started there a few weeks before her, I think. Don't quote me on that. But it was a newish job for him too. And that is new. It was the summer time. School was about to start. Was there anything interesting that deviated from his routine? Any changes? We won't know that. But it's something to think about when you're reading these probable causes and not assuming everything is what it is. So, was Michael at risk? Was he high risk? Well, Chris Medina seems to think that he's high risk because he deviated from the norm. The most random, risky probabilities of abduction applies to him because of the routineness that he was told he had. Very interesting to me. Another part of this is the child is involved in a situation causing a reasonable person to conclude that the child should be considered at risk. Significant risk to the child can be assumed if the investigation indicates a possible abduction, violence at the scene of the abduction, or a sign of exploitation in this way. Was there violence at the scene of this alleged abduction by the alleged murder-kidnapper, Stacey and Sarah Wondra? Was there? Was there evidence of anything? I don't see it in the probable cause we read yesterday. Just a lot of hearsay. A lot of hearsay. Again, the probable cause is not going to list out every single thing they've done, collected, tested. And the bar is low for PCAs. But there should be at least something to strengthen your probable cause, at least enough, in my opinion, if there was forensic evidence. Maybe they just really did not want to put that out there. So they did the bare minimum of all of this circumstantial evidence and a witness here and there corroborating what the police are theorizing happened. That's exactly what this PCA is. And again, maybe they know more. Of course, they know a lot more than we ever will. But it's looking weird. Doesn't give me any confidence. If they actually did, in fact, do this crime, I'm not confident if this is it. True that. But their polygraphs are inadmissible. I think it's not a secret that he failed 2 polygraphs. It's not the father. It's out there. I mean, the audio of Chris Medina kind of coaching Brandy to here's how you handle that. You know, kick the ball back into the end zone kind of thing. Literally what he said, which I understand, so that the police can do their job and not have to worry about things. Speculation, but doesn't matter. It's out there. And police seem to think that, you know, the polygraphs were not important in the investigative sense, because that's what they use them for, is to go, okay, which way are we going in this investigation with 2 failed polygraphs? Okay. They didn't seem to think it was anything. That's just what we know, right? Obviously, from the PCA. So, now we have a canine handler reporting that this dog showed interest in the area of the corner of Meadowlark and Red Wing Street. I showed you this yesterday, that it is here. There we go. Meadowlark and Red Wing. Here's the suspect's home. Here's Meadowlark right here. The canine showed interest at the intersection and then headed straight to the fence in the front door of the Wondras' residence. Now, this is an important date because we don't know what, tracking dogs did on that day or that night that he disappeared or the next day. I know that they were there. And here's how I know this. If you give me just a quick second to pull this up, I'm going to show you here's August. And I'm going to scroll it in to try not to dox folks. But here's the date here. (8/1). Y'all see that? Here's the dates. And here, if you see, what is it? 10/11 dog. Sometimes it's a dog that literally got out and somebody's calling in to say, come get this dog. But if it's initiated by the police department address, which is 200 South Whitley, it's usually drug dog related or search and rescue related because they have to deploy search and rescue nonprofits and companies to help them sometimes. So they have to initiate it, and you're going to see their address here. So I sifted through this for years, going over and over and over what happened during that crucial 2-week time frame of when Michael went missing, and got this information, kind of weeded out which ones were actual dogs that were searching. And here we go. I'm going to try not to do this too much. Hold on. You see this one right here on 8/21 at 4:26:44 p.m. There is a dog call at Cornwall Subdivision on 8/1. I want you to see that. I had these screenshotted, but I really did forget to upload them. My bad. That was my fault. I can't do everything. And then there's Fruitland. Cornwall Subdivision. So I can tell roughly when there was a search dog either being called over to go somewhere by the police department, or a tip maybe came in and they're going to say, this person said she saw a child over here. Let's go run a track dog, a scent tracking dog. Let's see if it yields, right? JDF. So you can kind of tell where they went. This is pretty obvious. My God. On 8/1, around 5:30, there was a dog regarding a lost and found child, which, come on now, we know that's Michael. In these areas. I don't know what they, came of. There could have been something, could be nothing. Okay? Let's keep going. Well, they had a dog out by the track. You could see that Fruitland Police Department definitely found property in relation to Michael. You could tell that they went to a specific area a few times on River Road, right here. Do we know what that is? No, this could be just something that they had to rule out. So what I'm trying to say is I have a hard time believing that his scent stopped where they said it was, because dogs are not 100%. They have a 65% success rate on average of tracking live scent. Cadaver dogs have actually a more, I think it was 83% chance of being successful in recovering human remains. Live scent tracking dogs, it's harder for them for a multitude of reasons, but it also depends on your handler, right? And how hot it is that day, or how many people have been around. The scents can mix together. Who knows? So do not get me wrong and take me for a fool that I did not look at this and consider these things. All right? You bet I did. You bet I did. Now, what about July? Let's pull that one up, because that was popping. Oh, my Lord, was that popping that day, or that month, at the end of the month, because of Michael's gone missing. And it took an excruciating amount of time to go through that. So let's jump to 7/27/21. There's so many pages with so much stuff. It takes a minute. All right. All right. So obviously I looked at what was going on the day before. Was there a predator, prowler, right? Was somebody fighting out in the streets? Yes, actually. Were there suspicious things going on in the wee hours of the morning? Yes. Yes, there were. Lots of cars being pulled over. Police were busy. I mean, really busy that morning. It was popping. Right? There was a civil dispute, neighbor problem in a very interesting area that caught my attention. I'm just trying to tell you that once he was reported missing, Michael, right here at 7:21, and yes, there are 2 calls. It just means that there was another call that it was attached to it later on down the road. So that's why there was 2, because you have dispatch and then you have it. Dispatch will take you to whoever you need to go to, fire, medical, or police. All right. So it was very interesting to me not seeing anything out of the norm for that area, asking others, locals. Okay. But there was, a little bit of weirdness, especially here. This is not too far away. These 2 addresses are not far away at all from a potential, abduction and get out of Dodge. It wouldn't take long at all to get there. And that was, right before neighbors saw him at 6:15, allegedly. And maybe, so you're not thinking of anything. You're thinking, okay, I don't know when Michael went missing. So do these have any merit? Well, maybe they thought that they could get away with something because the police already stopped them and they're clear. You have to really think deep, right? Just to see, what you could help with tips, right? Well, there was a lot of activity that day. I mean, really, there was. Beyond abnormal. There was a 911 call that was a hang up earlier in the day. This was a very active time at 2 to 3. And it's so weird because the same person got stopped multiple times. multiple times. And I don't know why, but I did my due diligence, again, like I said, on the dog tracking. I kind of got in a tangent, sorry. It's been a while since I've looked at that. Lots of crazy shit popping off. Okay? And I can tell you, there was a lot of searching every day. It's very obvious that they would do so, but they did do coordinated searches with the dogs at certain times. Okay? And there's footage of this. So let's look. Let's just go old school and look at what you would get if you did, I don't know, Michael Vaughan search in Idaho. Let's just do that. And then we're going to take our tool, do a custom range of, let's just do the night he went missing to the 31st, before August. It says, after 2 days, the search continues. Still no sign. Extensive search, July 29th. Let's listen to
our
this
continuing coverage of this missing boy in Fruitland. The search continues this morning for 5-year-old Michael Vaughan. He was reported missing Tuesday night around 6:30 near Southwest 9th Street and South Arizona Avenue in Fruitland.
Today's search, and they're asking for the community's help now, comes after a full day of searching yesterday from the air, on the ground with K9s. People from multiple agencies went door to door yesterday. They talked to neighbors, they searched fields, searched yards, and all in hopes of finding this little boy. Neighbors say they learned about the 5-year-old's disappearance around 7:30 on Tuesday night. They say Michael is a happy kid who lived in this neighborhood with his parents and his grandfather. Cynthia Walker lives in the neighborhood. She was walking her dog as the search was happening.
At 5 years old, I don't know that he would wander too far without one of us seeing him by now. There are volunteers, many volunteers out searching, scanning the fields, and we just want to have Michael back. We want him home safe. We're just praying for the family, praying for Michael.
A code red is in effect for Michael right now. He is considered an endangered missing person, and obviously we all have very high hopes that we find Michael today. Help to find him has come from all around our region, including Idaho State Police. Fruitland Police are now asking everyone who lives there to please search around your homes, and they want people to search their crawl spaces, their sheds, trailers, vehicles, anywhere that a boy could be hiding or even stuck right now. Again, this is a photo of Michael, blonde hair, blue eyes, about 3'7", last seen wearing a blue Minecraft shirt, dark blue briefs. If you know where this boy is, call 911 or the Payette County Sheriff's Office. And once again, the Fruitland Police Department is coordinating a citizen search this morning. So many of you have reached out to me and asked me if you can help. This is your moment. It will start in the southern parking lot of Fruitland High School at 9 a.m. They'll be searching between 9 and 1 p.m. with the public today. This is an organized, coordinated search with authorities. So
now you remember, I just pulled up a little article or a little clip from the training information from Nick Mick, you know, what to do when a child goes missing, basically, and for investigators, it's a step up. And it said higher risk for an abduction, right? You know, you have to do an analysis on that. Was the child at higher risk and all of that? And then you have, and we don't know if Michael was one way or the other, but they have this coordinated search on the 29th of July. Here it is, July 29th, and I have a little handy dandy tool that tells me when this was uploaded. At 8:49. All right. So, okay, cool. So we know that there's a coordinated search going on in specific areas, while at the same time that day, Let's see if we see any videos of actual dogs tracking anyone. Let me do my custom range again. Let's see. And it's very obvious that JD Huff said that they did them. I'm not really looking for that. I'm looking for details. I want to know where they are searching. Let's see. See if this says anything.
Well, tonight, concern and confusion in Fruitland as law enforcement and the community continue to search for a missing 5-year-old boy. Michael Vaughan, also known as Monkey, has been missing since Tuesday night. Now, we've watched as multiple law enforcement agencies have used helicopters, drones, and canines to find the little boy. Now, a national agency is joining in on the search, and it comes as we're now expecting an update about this case from police. Our Tristan Lewis is live in Fruitland, where he has been staying on top of this story for us this week. Tristan, walk us through what you've learned.
Shira, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children say they have a team on location in Fruitland. That team is known as Team Adam. They help with local law enforcement agencies on their search, spread awareness of children's disappearances, and help families during this devastating time. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children were not able to go into full details about what they are bringing to Michael's case, but in general, Team Adam is made up of retired law enforcement professionals. They are sent to sites where cases are unfolding to provide ground technical assistance and other national resources. They also bring equipment and more resources for each case. And while
as much as I appreciate all of those helpers and searchers for Michael Vaughan, do you think that maybe this was not the best idea? To have so many people continuing to search over and over in the same areas over and over? Could that dilute scent? Could that be a problem for scent dogs? I would say yes. I am going to openly scrutinize this part of the investigation from the jump. No matter what they knew or what they were chasing, what leads they were chasing, it should have stopped. It should have never even happened to me. And I think that law enforcement has learned this along the way since Summer Wells and other, missing child cases, but I don't understand why, if you're going to use scent tracking dogs to help, why have so many people trampling over that scent? I think it would hinder it. You know what I mean? That's just me.
Team Adam is currently on location. The Idaho Army National Guard was in the area Wednesday, also aiding in search efforts. They were asked to use one of their UH-72A Lakota search and rescue helicopters.
Our crew conducted a thorough search of the area of interest, but unfortunately they were unable to locate the missing boy.
The Idaho Army National Guard was soon after called off the search. Lieutenant Borders tells me they get their requests for these types of operations from the Air Force Rescue Center in Florida. And again, this search is still very active, in Fruitland Police.
Okay, nothing about the dogs. Let's continue. Let's keep going. Nothing. Not a lot of information is showing about that first week. The 5 days before August hits. Very interesting. And again, we know tracking dogs came. Were they professional enough? Did they have the right training for this? Was it diluted? That's the problem that I'm thinking I personally see, because there's nothing. I do know for a fact that they were coming into the Cornwall Way subdivision before August 1st and 2nd. Like, that's a fact. I just showed you on August 1st, they went back to the Cornwall subdivision, but they were very focused, heavily focused across the highway near Kansas and this open field by the cider plant, which is across the highway getting out of Michael's neighborhood. They were there a lot. But I don't know if that obviously ended up doing anything for them. So this is questionable. Like this, they're going to have to obviously document. The canine handler is going to be testifying that Banshee showed interest in these areas and only went directly to 1102 Southwest 9th Street, Southwest 9th, Red Wing Street, 1102 Red Wing, from Meadowlark. And that was it. And then went straight to the fence, too. Okay? This is live scent. Live. He was alive, is what they're saying. So, the theory that Michael was alive and taking into that home, right, by one of the four suspects, or all four of them, around the time he went missing, would suggest to people looking and watching that, oh, they must have done something to him because they're coming back from Nampa. Everyone's home. There's another eyewitness that sees Michael either at one time or the other around that time at Meadowlark and Red Wing. The only one that sees him outside of Southwest 9th Street. Michael gets within 15 minutes of being on his street, ends up on Meadowlark and Red Wing. How does that happen? And when? And where's the footage? Wouldn't there be one of the only eyewitnesses having something on camera showing that Michael was over in the other subdivision? Somebody make it make sense to me. But the only eyewitness that sees Michael allegedly at Meadowlark and Red Wing on the way to her own home, who lives right next door to who? The suspects and the sublets living there, Brandon and Adrian. Wow. And we know that neighbor, Dorothy, as I mentioned yesterday, has a questionable past, and her ex-husband, who, stay there. Dorothy only sees Michael either at 6:25 or 7:25. When we go down here to read it, I'm going to jump real quick. Dorothy, who was present at, I'm assuming, her home in Red Wing, reported that on July 29th, that she saw Michael riding a big wheel tricycle at the corner of Red Wing Street and Meadowlark Avenue on July 27th, as she was either entering or leaving that neighborhood. Dorothy is seen on surveillance videos coming into the neighborhood westbound on Southwest 8th Street at 6:25. Now, that would be the most probable time for her to see Michael, right? Because neighbors on Southwest 9th Street are saying that they saw him. He knocked on doors, all that stuff, which was apparently unusual and puts him at high risk for doing that unusual thing. So she leaves the neighborhood an hour later on the dot where she was seen the last time. Okay? On the dot an hour later. So you got to remember these times. You have Dorothy either seeing Michael at 6:25, which is probable, or 7:25, which is improbable because 911 had been called by then 4 minutes prior to that. So I'm going to put this in red. Because that sounds like a bunch of malarkey. Orange will work. I'm going to check in my chat now since I've been rambling for a hot minute. Let's see what's going on in the chat. He was at a lot of places at once, apparently. So you see the discrepancy, and I know that, you know, it's approximate. These neighbors being seen, but seeing him rather on his street between 6:15 and 6:30, when Tyler's supposed to be outside smoking at this point, or something, or maybe right after that. So I mean, he just missed him. Just missed Michael. Sneaky Michael. Bless his heart. So, Dorothy's coming out of the neighborhood at 6:25. Nobody sees him on camera. But he should be. At least if he was in, you know, Meadowlark and Red Wing. So, who would be the only one logically at this time, just right now, seeing more than maybe they said? Okay, let's just put it out there. That's going to be a difficult one. That witness is going to be a difficult one. Because she's the neighbor of these suspects. Think about that. Now, she doesn't always stay, from what I understand, at the home where her ex-husband stays. But she does. And she also stayed with the Wondras here and there, from my understanding. So this one is going to be scrutinized the heaviest, if I'm honest, by a defense team. That one. Hi, Nico. And when Mike Duke said on his little recent thing, we are going to, you know, be careful, and we're going to put, you know, this trial is going to put neighbors out in the open public, and we need to, basically be careful about the neighbors and don't hurt anybody's feelings. But Michael doesn't have a voice, right? This has been bothering me ever since I read this probable cause affidavit, because of how close she is to seeing Michael at a weird time, and also not knowing which one, and then being right next door and having access to and lived in the Wanderer's home in October of 2021 as a fact. We'll put that one up here. Yes, we will. Let me get Sarah's TikTok pulled up. Oh, I already have it picked up. But, you know, Juanita says that detective, excuse me, let me be proper and respectful. Detective Keller says that Sarah was never this full-blown crazy, religious and kind of off her rocker. I'm paraphrasing here. But this is 2019, if you could see it. You see this, 2019? Let's listen.
I deserve to go to hell.
Really? What? Why, Sarah?
Some people ask me why I believe in Jesus. Do you know what I deserve based off my own life and my own knowledge of that life? I deserve to go to hell.
Wow. I think you're a little hard on yourself. And then she comes down here literally a few months later and says, disclaimer, at the end I say that I don't have to be good. What I meant by that is there's no way for me to be good, but only Jesus can. Okay, Sarah, okay. I get you, I guess.
I deserve to rot there.
Jeez.
But I'm not going to. Because my Savior has proven to me unquestionably through my life
Oh.
and through His Word that I am saved by His Son, because I don't deserve that at all. I am not a good person.
Oh. Seems like Sarah says this quite a bit and has for a long time. Because that is how she takes her religion as a, in my opinion, only a self-beating. She's a little hard on herself. And that is not uncommon for people who struggle with, mentals. Let's see what else we got.
So this video is for my fellow believers, in Christ. So if you're in...
Oh, but I thought, wait, let's jump around here to the probable cause. I told you I was going to jump. Sarah's social media posts, and TikTok on Facebook has changed drastically to religion. Really? Really? And asking for forgiveness of her sins. Prior to Michael's abduction, Sarah had only posted approximately 11 videos on TikTok over 3 years. So what? So what? Following Michael's abduction, Sarah posted approximately 330 videos from September 15th to December 24th. So what? In TikTok videos Sarah posted, Sarah made testimony statements regarding her involvement in criminal behaviors and that she had broken all 10 of the commandments. It should be noted that thou shalt not kill is one of the 10 commandments. We'll pull that up here shortly. Sarah had also alleged in her videos that it did not matter what sin she had committed because God had forgiven her for all of them. Michael's missing person flyer can be seen on her refrigerator in the background of some of her videos. Oh, the humanity. I'm going to show you while I know I'm everywhere right now, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to wing it and go with it. If you are familiar with the Richard Allen case, or the Delphi case with Richard Allen, who has been convicted, in my opinion, wrongfully, absolutely did not do it, in my opinion. Laura Mathias from Hidden True Crime, who's getting a lot of heat right now, as she should, botched that case a lot with the coverage of it. She was very one-sided, even though she acts like she's not. She's one-sided, in my opinion. And that whole Richard Allen, had a, the information of the girls and the suspects that they drew. And I don't even know which one it was. I'll have to pull it up. But whatever they released of the sketch of the perpetrators seems to be what caused this mania on the YouTube streets prior to this PCA being written. And this was right around the time that Summer Wells was popping off with a lot of crazy stuff. But this is the one I'm talking about. And I just got a call from a very important number regarding this case. And I think that I might need to take it, guys. But this was Richard Allen, and he had the sketch of the of one of the people that was allegedly seen that around that time on the bridge. This turned into Sarah being the, oh my God, Michael's flyer is behind her in a TikTok video, which Brandy's actual mother still screams that this is suspect. Well, maybe because you heard it on the YouTubes. Because of this started before it. He was literally, I think, arrested on the 22nd of October of 2022. So this is right before they got arrested, and everybody was in cahoots about this. Poor Sarah. Damn it. She didn't get a break with that one because it was already in the air on social media with true crime. Okay. Malarkey. So let's continue. Okay, I already read that. So I find that that's really interesting that that was used in this probable cause affidavit. I don't understand. So you have this video of Sarah. Let's go back to her TikTok really quickly. I'm getting blown up by this number, guys. I might have to put y'all on a brief hold. One sec.
I want to text you.
Oh.
You guys all pretend you don't know what to do with raw emotion.
That's called psychosis. On January 7, 2020, guys. That's called psychosis. Not having medications.
I'm reading.
And now she's fine. Now we're going to read the Bible.
Matthew.
Don't weaponize this
So
poor
in
girl's
the
mental
last
health
day
against her.
ran
Now she's singing.
So,
Do you see what I'm saying, guys?
here in Idaho.
Weaponizing this girl.
So I wrote.
And then it skips forward to 2021 from 2020. Now, what was going on in 2020? COVID. Now, I don't know why she couldn't get into this TikTok for a while. I don't know. I have no earthly idea why there's a skip. I do know that she has another TikTok called God's Girl that she was on habitually. Maybe it's because her phone was tied to the TikTok of Sarah Ann Wondra and she got a new one. She couldn't get into it and therefore it was just not worth it. And she had a new TikTok. Like, right? Could there be explanations to this stuff? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So here's the partial testimony that she does that Detective Keller mentions in here. And it's a long one. All right. But it's actually a pretty decent one. Like if you want to get to know the ins and outs of Sarah and what she's been through as a person who thinks she's guilty or not, that's the one to go to right there. And I actually think it's, and I'm not being biased at all. I think that this explains a lot of why she does the things she does and why she is the way she is. Okay. And I've gone over this on my live. Yeah, I'm getting blown up. Give me just a second, guys. I'm going to take this call because it's not stopping. One moment. Okay. Sorry about that. I am going to wrap it up. Something came up. No need to worry. No alarms. No nothing. We'll have a part 3. This one just got cut off a little earlier today. I need to figure out what's going on with something. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. But just watch out for a live coming up. All right, guys. Sorry to cut it off so short. But I think that what we went through today was plenty to digest. There's a lot more to go into. Thanks, guys. I'm sorry to cut it off so short, but I gotta go. Peace.
Thank you for being with me while doing live streams. It means a lot to me. You are appreciated. See you on next live. Take care and spend your energy wisely. See you on next live. Take care and spend your energy wisely.